Hi, I'm Lucas Johnson. I'm an investment advisor representative with First Street Financial Advisors, and I've been practicing for about 10 years as an investment advisor representative. I currently work with dentists and other medical professionals. And today we have Professor Erika Johnson from East Carolina University, and she's here to help me discuss communications with healthcare professionals. Hi, Professor Johnson. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here.
Good, excellent. So give me a little background of your.
So I have a PhD in journalism from the University of Missouri, and I also have a MPH degree. So my research and teaching was originally more in the health communication area.
Okay.
But
Can you tell people what an MPH what that stands for?
Master of Public Health.
Okay.
So I used to primarily teach health communication at East Carolina University when I first started working there about 9 years ago. And now my research and teaching has shifted more into strategic communication, which is in the marketing and communication realm. So I teach students about strategic planning around communication plans.
Yeah, communications, advertising.
So I am like integrated marketing, communications, advertise. A lot of my research right now is in the advertising and entertainment spaces.
realm.
Oh, and also I am the digital media coordinator for the School of Communication. So that's my unit at East Carolina University.
Okay. Yeah. What do you do with the digital media section?
Yeah, so I create content we primarily focus on Instagram in terms of trendy kind of content or content that reaches different audiences and stakeholders like students, alumni. That's a lot of our focus is alumni relations. And then I like to focus on capturing students as a target audience while they're students and building that relationship so then we can have good relations with them when they're alums as well.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent segue in today's topic.
Oh, okay.
So the podcast, this is our inaugural podcast of Practice Profit RX or prescription. Okay. So we're going to deal with dentists, mostly owners, physician owners as well, and to kind of give them ideas about how to promote their practice and become more profitable.
Yeah.
So let's go into maybe starting with a funnel. Okay. So you start with the general public.
Yeah.
And if we're going to market a dental practice to the general public, let's say I'm Dr. Johnson, a dentist, and I start with the funnel, how do I go about attracting new patients to my practice?
A funnel.
Like, how would you do that? Let's say you have the greater St. Louis area, and I'm trying to attract patients into my practice, a new patient. What would you do? Like, what would be the first step?
Yeah, because you and I have talked about this a little bit before leading up to us meeting for this podcast.
Yeah.
So the first step or a baseline step, I would say, is building a presence on Google.
Okay.
And garnering Google reviews, if possible, because I view that as the first way that new patients might find a practice.
So it's almost like you start with the current patients you have, and then you have them leave the Google reviews.
Yeah, and initiating that could be hard.
Okay.
Definitely, especially if you're starting a practice on your own and you're not buying a practice with an established client list, or patient/client list.
Yeah, patient.
And
clients.
I think the way you define that is, to me, it's somewhat changing in this space because a lot of dental practices are focusing on some of those cosmetic adjacent procedures or offerings.
Right.
In addition to things that are medically necessary.
Right.
But some of the things that are medically necessary also delve into the cosmetic as
So,
well.
yeah. So your first step would be to go to the existing patient base and try to encourage them to do a Google review.
Yeah, that's
And
what
then,
I would recommend.
right.
To build up credibility.
Right. And then after
sure.
you build this credibility on Google, would you go ahead then and maybe make an Instagram or a
Yes.
Facebook or?
Yeah, digital presences are increasingly important versus when we were growing up, in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
The trend back then was more like, my married name is Carter.
Mhm.
So let's say like
Right.
I'm a dentist. I'm Dr.
You're
Carter.
Dr. Carter, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I go by Dr. Johnson though. Most of the time. But anyway, but
I call you Professor.
Yeah,
I like
or
Professor.
But
you're Doctor now,
yes.
Dr. Carter.
So anyway, the old kind of way of doing things, old school way, was having a dental practice named after you,
Right.
where you're the brand. But increasingly, from a marketing strategy, and also if you want to sell your practice later on,
Mm-hmm.
the strategy is more so having it be a branded name.
Right.
That's
right.
not your last name. Like, it's not
Right.
like you're associating it with one professional.
Right, exactly.
So that's another way to think about it as well.
Okay.
And another thing, let me add too, that to be competitive in this space, it takes a lot of savvy as well, especially if you're not buying a practice and you're just starting from scratch.
That would be extremely hard.
Yeah, because it is, I think find it, and there's research to support it's increasingly competitive.
Yeah.
And in some ways you're competing with med spas too.
Right.
And also something that you and I have talked about before is hospital systems are a little bit different, where like in the St. Louis area, like Mercy, for example,
Mm-hmm.
if Mercy already has that brand equity in the community. And so if I'm a practitioner at Mercy, a physician, I can attract clients and and lean on the marketing of that hospital system.
Right.
And there are a finite number of those systems.
Okay.
Whereas dental practices, it's almost like, pop up here, pop
Well,
up
yeah,
here.
they're all small
Yeah.
businesses. And that's kind of what this podcast is about is, how do you promote or extend your private practice, your business?
Yeah.
So not so much employees, but business owners. That's really what we're focused on.
Yeah, almost like you have to have an entrepreneurial
Spirit.
mindset more and more.
Yeah. So let's go back. Let's circle back to that
sorry.
Instagram.
Yes.
Let's circle back to that Instagram. So you would set up an Instagram page of some type. And then what exactly would your recommendations be to a small business owner or to a dentist or physician to set up this small business page, this Instagram page?
So I would first think about having a professional, high quality content strategy. So it's different from having a personal account.
Okay.
Because a lot of personal accounts are more casual, or you could look at it as like fun, so to speak.
Right.
But you really need to have high quality photos.
Okay.
A high quality, logo and design. Have a brand identity. Think carefully about naming your practice. So, like I said, in the past, you might have called it like the Dr. Carter,
and I think
or Dr. Carter and Associates or something.
Yeah, and I think that works well in small towns and communities.
Small town. So East Carolina is in Greenville, and so there are a lot of practices that are like that there that have been there for decades. That are names that are well known in the community. So for that kind of a strategy, yes, it works. But increasingly, as I said, there are practices that have. Like one that you and I talked about before, I think it's called Southern Pines.
Right, exactly.
But that isn't like, oh, when I go to Southern Pines, I know I'm going to go to this person.
Yeah.
Because my dentist practice that I've been going to for 10 years, it's just that one dentist. So it's very small. But I expect when I go there that I'm going to see that dentist.
Yeah. And we'll circle back to that on whenever we talk about practice.
Yeah.
The sales. Selling your practice.
But Instagram, Instagram. So high quality content, really important, because also when I do content creation for School of Communication, Meta and other, like, if you wanted to go on TikTok, that's a whole nother topic, but I wouldn't delve into that as a first step.
Okay.
But TikTok and Meta, so Meta covers Facebook and Instagram.
Right. It's Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, it's
Right.
like the umbrella for those.
Uh-huh.
They reward within the algorithm high quality content.
Okay.
So videos should be high definition.
Okay.
Or 4K. Photos should be high quality, like taken with at least a newer smartphone or a professional camera.
Okay.
And I would really recommend hiring at least an intern, or if not, like having a marketing agency or a communications kind of agency do that work, depending on budget.
Okay.
But at the very least, hiring maybe a communications student or a recent graduate to help you with that kind of work, because that's really a challenge.
And you think it's a really good investment in your practice as a business owner?
Absolutely,
too.
Yeah, because digital presences are increasingly important with capturing those, customers / patients, whatever you want to define it as. Because again, you're competing. There's so much saturation sometimes, depending on your market, your area. But in the St. Louis area, I would. To me, it's pretty saturated.
Yeah. What I did read, actually, a kind of interesting study the other day, and it said that if you have a practice and it's not growing, if you just have a static patient list, but you start making more money, you should be worried.
Okay.
And why do you think you should be worried?
So wait, pause the question.
So let's say you have 1,000 patients. This is just a made up number.
Yeah.
And you don't grow. You don't grow your Instagram following. You don't grow Facebook.
Okay.
But then your revenue keeps going up. Why do you think that's a problem?
Why is it a problem?
Or why do you think this is occurring? It was very interesting. It was written by an attorney.
Have the same amount of patients.
You have 1,000 patients. You haven't done anything on Instagram or Facebook.
Yeah.
Or any outreach at all. But your revenue keeps going up. Why do you think that is happening? And why is it a problem?
I don't know.
It's because your patient list is old and they get more and more dental work.
Oh, that's interesting.
And you start making more and more revenue, but you're not reaching out to new people.
But then would that plateau over time?
Correct.
Okay.
And then that kind of circles back to what we were talking about with selling the practice later on.
Oh,
that this patient list literally starts dying out.
Okay. Like you have the older
generation.
Folks,
yeah, the baby boomers.
That connected with that older marketing strategy where you have the
more like direct mail.
Or where it's like the Dr. Carter and Associates dental practice. Yeah.
And then you start having this problem. And if you're not doing more outreach via social media channels, even direct mail, I guess, can work. I don't have any statistics about that. I don't know if you do or not, about actually mailing people.
It's expensive.
It is very expensive. I've run political campaigns before.
And it's not very targeted.
It is not very targeted.
So I would be wary. And plus, a lot of people, if it's not motivationally relevant, meaning, it's not piquing your interest, they just throw it away. Because also, if you want to capture a customer and have them switch from a different practice, I think that can be a real challenge too. Because I get this is a different industry, but like I have to buy insurance. Yeah, I'm a homeowner. I have a car, all that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I get kind of lazy with. It's hard to switch providers for that and other, like dentistry as well, because you've been going to the same person. So it takes a lot. But I get direct mail from different insurance agencies, and I look at it, I'm like, oh, but that's just so hard. I don't want to call them. I don't want to switch and.
Exactly.
But switching dentists, though, would be easier a little bit.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah.
So let's go into the funnel thing again. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have your presence online, your website. I think you would say that's a minimum.
So by funnel, do you mean like how do you capture a new client or a new customer or whatever you want to call it?
So the funnel would be you have the top of the funnel would be all the people in St. Louis, for instance.
Yeah.
Or Greenville, North Carolina.
Yeah, that's where I live. Yeah.
Right.
As a reminder.
And then the second one would be, okay, I put all these people or all these pictures and convincing things on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then you get noticed.
Yeah.
So your business is being noticed by the marketplace. The person then books an appointment with you. Now, we have gone over this yesterday, actually.
Yeah. We talked about it.
So it's about the patient experience, really.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think I want to really go into the patient experience after we acquire the patient/customer, okay, the consumer through Instagram. And let's say they show up to your practice.
Yeah.
Let's say maybe they're new.
Right.
And they're 25.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they're not a pediatric patient. They're an adult patient.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say they have dental insurance. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they come into your office. You're Dr. Carter. Hi, Dr. Carter. And they come into your office. What would be the first thing? We talked about the waiting room.
Yeah.
And like first impressions. Can you go into like the first impression?
Yeah, absolutely. So
and I think you had studies about it maybe?
Yeah. So when I used to teach health communication, we would talk about this in various because health communication is not just physician, because people think about physicians or whatever, or mass media campaigns, so and so forth.
Right.
We talked about dental as well, and
dental, yeah.
Anyway, but and yeah, I've been looking up recent findings about this.
Okay.
And trends. So you really want to make people feel comfortable, and also modern design is emphasized, like making sure you have nice, comfortable furniture. It's not severe. It doesn't make people feel like they're having a hospital visit. Like you have like the.
No offense to the MDs and DOs of the world.
Yeah, but not having like severe government issued, ugly beige walls, and you don't want the seating to be, cheap and uncomfortable, or you don't want it to look run down. That really affects your credibility. You want the front office, like the when you enter in, you want someone at the front that's friendly and
we had talked about
trustworthy.
The patient ambassador type person.
Yeah, so making it kind of a customer service oriented experience. Another aspect that another trend is like having even like a coffee station or like a beverage station. Comfortable.
Free, of course, right?
Yes, free included, of course, yes.
I just went to the hospital the other day and it was not free.
Oh, yeah.
It was at WashU, but it wasn't free. That was part of their revenue generation. Anyway, go ahead, continue.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. But that's the thing that
about the big systems.
With medical organization, like physician and nursing and so forth, like that, not dentistry. I think that industry, it's set up in, that where the price is like hidden and like
we're gonna get into
expect to be anyway,
we're gonna get into the price too. We're gonna get into pricing.
The design of the office and the using calming colors is a trend. Using kind of something I researched was like using like a calming kind of like stone, like grays and cool tones and so forth in your office is a trend.
Okay.
And borrowing those ideas from med spas or spas even is something that draws in clients, or whatever you want to call them, clients, patients.
They're customers, consumers,
but I keep saying
patients.
Clients because you almost have to look at the patient as a client, not just like a person that you're fixing, like, okay, it's a patient, like whatever.
It's a mechanic.
Like you go in and out. So it should be based on relationship building and keeping that person happy.
And then in that same vein with the relationship building, we had talked about this yesterday with the client or patient receptionist or reception.
Yeah, and we touched on, exactly. So having someone like friendly, they look trustworthy, also knowledgeable, able to pull up your information quickly, give you I love upon exit when you get that branded toothbrush and the free items too. Or sometimes when I go to just anecdotally, when I go to the dentist and I'm having an issue, like I had some teeth sensitivity issues, and my dentist just said, "Oh, here's some free samples," and so that made me feel good. Like, oh, okay.
And didn't have their name on it, so like branded.
Exactly, or have even the bags that you give them have that be branded. My dentist also gives away chapstick, Because sometimes you feel in that experience, like you feel really dry and like uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Another thing that I think would be cool when you're to alleviate anxiety, maybe have calming music, or maybe allow the patient to choose music if it's a longer procedure like an implant or crown or something of that nature where it's taking a long time, because that can be uncomfortable. Because I've been to dentists before where they make me feel really uncomfortable and I feel like I'm counting down and I'm just like, ugh, like I can't wait to leave.
Yeah, exactly.
So uncomfortable.
So let's talk about patient retention. Okay, so if someone comes into the office, we've talked about this. They were the general public. They saw the Instagram. They're like, cool, let's go to Dr. Carter.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, we entered into the waiting room, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, now the receptionist, she's really nice. She's going to take you back to the dental chair. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the doctor goes, dentist, how do we want them to look in order to build trust with the patient?
So the old school way is you could dress how we are and wear a white coat.
Oh, this would be like a white coat right here?
Yeah, or you could even wear, well, that might be uncomfortable. I guess wear like a...
I'm more like a psychiatrist right now.
Yeah. Well, because I've had physicians like that where they dress business casual with a white coat. But nowadays, there's research and trends showing that people don't like that as much. It doesn't convey as much trust. It makes people maybe even uncomfortable, or maybe reminds them of their experience at a hospital or in a hospital system. No offense to them.
Yeah.
But more of the trend now is having your staff and you as a dentist wear scrubs, or like nice scrubs, like not where they're all gross and dirty. Right. And branding them even like maybe with your embroidery and like having your name. Because also this ties into our post-COVID era where the scrubs signal trust and cleanliness and things of that nature. And also that's a trend at med spas as well, where the uniforms, and what I mean by med spas, if people aren't, well, I think a lot of people who would be interested in this podcast would know this, but med spas, like they do injectable kind, like Botox, fillers, cool sculpting, all of those kind of medical, but they're cosmetic.
Majority cosmetic.
Yeah, and I keep bringing that up too because a lot of dental practices are starting to offer like masseter Botox, where you relax your jaw because that could help you with teeth grinding. And...
So it's medically necessary.
Yeah,
that's not just cosmetic.
A lot of times though, I don't think it's covered by insurance. It can be quite expensive, and it requires a lot of units. I believe, but anyway.
Okay, so back to patient retention.
Yeah.
So the dentist, let's say, follows your advice and they wear the scrubs that are branded or the white coat or whatever. And then usually I think dental insurance covers, 2 cleanings?
Yeah, that's
per
what
year?
Mine does. And I've had several different insurance plans over time.
That's usual. That's like the industry standard.
Yeah.
So as far as retaining these clients, so now we're down the funnel. So we've had the visit with the dentist, and let's say, Dr. Carter, thank you for your cleaning. Thank you for that. How are we going to retain this patient?
Yeah.
Because we need to have our list and build up the patient list.
Yeah.
Just like a college would, or just like I would with my list. I need to continue. We don't remain stagnant.
Yes. So I would continue my digital presences. Also, we discussed this before, touch points with the patient. So got ahead of myself. When I check out, I like to get something on the books right then. Okay. And I know some patients don't like that, but I think that's a good strategy on the dentist part, the practices part as well, because then you have them automatically scheduled. Yeah. So not only is it the mass media, like the digital presence part, that strategy, but also these communication strategies and when they have you there in the office. Yeah. And then also text messages I like.
Okay.
Like reminders, or if you didn't schedule, they follow up via text. I also get email reminders as well.
Okay.
But I don't like a lot of emails. I find it intrusive, and most people, there's research that shows that it's intrusive. So don't make it too intrusive, but there's a balance there.
Okay. Let's go in.
And I had another point.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So another thing I wanted to say too is the billing aspect is really important.
I was just going to talk about that actually.
So that's another thing where
pricing transparency.
Yeah, pricing transparency. So in the physician world or the hospital system space, I think patients kind of expect that because that's just the norm, where it's like, oh, surprise. So I was telling you, I got
yesterday,
gallbladder removal surgery last year. I won't get into why.
Yeah.
Well,
it doesn't
you
matter.
can imagine.
Yeah.
Gallstones or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so all I was told when I set that up is I had to pay the surgeon $1,000 just to book it.
Now, this is by a big university system.
It's not the university one. In Greenville, there are like 3 different systems, sort of. But there's one, the university one has the emergency department and the hospital. So
but this was a private practice?
Yeah, this is kind of private practice, like a private system. So paid the $1,000 to book the thing. That was the procedure at the surgery center. Then I didn't even really think about how much it would cost after that, to be honest. And this is outpatient. So we got there, my husband and I went, and we got there at like 7 a.m. or something to check in. And we got checked in, and then they called us over to this billing area, which I was surprised by. And the woman, whatever you want to call it, coordinator, whoever it was.
Coordinator.
Gave me this printout and said, okay, this is what it's probably going to cost you on top of the $1,000. And it said, and I have insurance. I have the best insurance I can get at ECU.
Right. As a professor?
Yes. And it was like $4,500. And I was a captive audience, and I was in a lot of pain. Like I had to have this surgery, and I had already,
So
I was already there, but I was just kind of shocked, like, okay.
So from a communication standpoint, as far as a dental practitioner goes or a small business owner, how would you approach doing pricing? Transparency.
Yeah,
should you be transparent?
Absolutely. That's why I like my dentist the practice I go to is they have a woman there that's her primary duty. Well, she's also a dental hygienist, like fills in. But
she has
her primary, if they need her, but is the way I understand it.
Okay.
But she knows all the ins and outs of the different insurance plans that are common, at least for people in that area. And then my dentist, the practice always gives you a printout of like a quote.
Okay.
And it's very transparent. Like, so I had to have a crown put on this amount. I don't know. I forget. In March and April.
Yeah.
And I think it was within my insurance, I think it was $700 total or something of that nature. So, but it was like, oh, okay, I know exactly how much this is going to cost before I book it. And then they were really transparent about if I needed a root canal, how much that would cost and who, and then they had an exact person that they would refer me to. And I really appreciated that.
Exact person meaning a specialist?
A specialist, yes. Because my dentist, I forgot the reason why she doesn't do those, but there's some reason.
She's a general practitioner.
Yeah, right. So she just... Which I like that too, because she didn't have bravado like, oh, I can do this or whatever. And it's like a money grab or whatever.
Right.
So I like that too when dentists are kind of transparent and straightforward and not conveying some sketchiness about that too. And then another thing I enjoyed was that they let me pay, like I paid half when I had the temporary crown and then I paid the other half when I got it all done. So it's almost like they have this payment plan as well. And I feel like I have trust with them they aren't punitive about because I did get something in the mail about that I had money due, and then I called them and they said, oh, don't worry about that. So I love that too, where they're just like, oh, we have a relationship and like this is what we talked about and that's what we're doing.
I think really what it is, like you said, is it's a relationship-based business.
Yes, absolutely.
Because let's say I go to dental school, I'm Dr. Johnson and you're Dr. Carter, and we get the same grades. Let's say we go to UMKC.
Yeah.
And we get the same grades, all right? And I go to St. Louis at Chesterfield, or you go to St. Louis and Chesterfield. You make, $500,000 and I make $100,000. Maybe the main difference is the relationship.
Yeah. That's a good point. Like all of these communication and marketing aspects. Absolutely, yes.
Like I decided, my patients go to you.
But they could be equally competent, like what you're saying.
Like
yes.
we got the same grades,
absolutely,
everything. But I come in and my waiting room looks like it's sterile or whatever
like
you said.
Plastic cheap chairs and
cheap
like,
from the my garage, and yours look really nice and stuff. But I mean, that really changes, I think, how much we could possibly make as small business owners. That you would make a lot more, possibly with the same skill level.
Mm-hmm.
So, and maybe even if I charge less money, as a transparency, if I said, well, I'd only charge you $500, people might think, well, that must be cheaper because the quality's lower.
Yeah, and I want to give an example that you and I talked about, but I'm not going to identify who.
Yeah, you can use anonymous surveys.
But this is an example where there's a practice that I encountered where I didn't go there, but someone I know.
Yeah, someone went there.
So what happened was that he went there and when he left, I think he thought he had paid everything with his insurance and all that. And then he got a bill that in the mail that had already gone to collections.
Did they tell him that?
No.
No communication?
And then he went out of the country on a trip and came back, and then all of a sudden they're leaving him all these voicemails like, you owe this, you owe this.
And how much money was it again?
About $25.
$25.
And then he paid it, and then he got sent a check from them for $25, and then he cashed it or deposited it because he thought, oh, there's some kind of clerical error here. And then they told him, oh, you stole our money because you cashed that.
That's some good communications.
So office management and billing and office management is really important. And it's tied in with your communication and touch points with patients. And
I assume he was retained as a client?
No, he left. He left and will never go back there again.
Right.
Over $25.
Correct. And you said also then he's going to spread the word from word of mouth that it's...
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. So, and that could also create a crisis for your... And
I did want to go into that.
Yeah.
Let's go into that crisis management situation that we had talked about with Google. We talked about this yesterday. If someone left you a bad Google review, because that was the top of our funnel, was that we were going to have our patients leave Google reviews, and hopefully they're 5 stars.
Because that's like the first entry point to me when someone's researching
for marketing
a dentistry. Yeah, like trying to find like, okay, what are the top rated ones and researching those. Because a lot of times these procedures are really involved also like the look of your smile, and that's really important. Anyway, I digress. But crisis wise,
let's go into crisis management.
That can really negatively affect your practice, especially if it's a newer practice and you don't have that reputation built up. So we really need to go into reputation management mode here, or also be thinking about ahead of time, like how the way I run my practice, is this going to cause me this problem? Is this going to cause me a legal problem too? It could be legal too.
Yep.
So I would be careful with that and really have a strong leadership and consider everything we're talking about. Anyway, but if someone leaves you a bad Google review, I think it would be unreasonable to expect that everyone's going to leave you 5 stars anyway. So I would recommend addressing it and not ignoring it, because if you ignore it, it makes people trust you less. It's not transparent.
Yeah.
Transparency is really emphasized in leadership and management literature as well. But so I would respond to the Google review because then it shows other people that are doing this research that, oh, they tried to remediate that situation. And so also I would be looking at my Google reviews and seeing like, okay, you know, how many people are leaving me 1 star? Because not everyone's gonna be happy. Some people are unreasonable, whatever.
Right.
Like if you have a couple here and there, that's fine. But look at those patterns too, and I would study those patterns. Like, what are people saying that's negative, and like, how can I take that feedback as well? Is something
because someone within the practice might be the $25 person.
Yeah, exactly. And thinking about, oh, is this really like this person's really negatively affecting my brand and my
retention,
my bottom line? Yeah. So I would look at that. I think that's really important. And another thing that you and I talked about too is I've seen crises play out in the cosmetic space on TikTok a lot.
The cosmetic dentistry space.
Yeah, cosmetic dentistry space, but also it's related where people lash out about their hair, like hair services, med spa services, and so forth, and will really negatively affect your reputation, your brand. So I would be monitoring that as well. But if you lean on being professional and communicative, transparent, it's hard to go wrong. Because there was a case that you and I talked about where there's this cosmetic dentist that had some viral following on social, like Instagram and TikTok, where the dentist, and I think he primarily did cosmetic, like veneers and yeah. And so a lot of that is relationship building based, and showing like the before and afters.
Right.
But anyway, it came out that he was texting female clients directly and trying to make them like meet him certain places that were inappropriate. That's
very odd, yes.
And sexually harassing them. And there's all this evidence, like text messages and so forth.
Yeah,
and
it's written and everything, so.
Yeah, and so I know that that's not most people's intent there, but I would avoid communicating with patients/clients with my personal cell phone number. I would use my professional account. I would communicate with them via patient portals because that really builds trust, and that's the appropriate venue to do that kind of communication about when your appointment is and how it's going to work, what the payment is, and so forth. And then also I looked at that time, that dentist, I reviewed, because I'm interested in these topics.
Yes.
I was
That's
looking
why I have
at
you
his,
on.
Yeah. I was looking at his digital media, social media,
yes.
and to me, it was unprofessional looking. Like what we were talking about before, like the photos were kind of low quality. Some of the posts were
This is a cosmetic guy, or this is a general practitioner?
Cosmetic.
Okay.
Some of the posts were more personal in nature, and it just... Yeah. And with that too, a lot of times on social media, you might feel like you want to do a trend. Like on TikTok and also Instagram, like Instagram Reels, there are a lot of these video-based, like kind of like memes or jokes or trends that come up. I would be careful with that. Like think about, okay, is this a trend that really fits with my brand? Is that what I really want to project? Or is that going to lower my credibility?
Right.
So I would try to do some monitoring and research on that and think critically. And that's where I would hire somebody.
I was just going to ask you that.
Yeah, or you use an agency that, depending on your budget, I would think about that.
What do you think the typical cost? Obviously, it's going to be higher in like New York City than it is here or Greenville. But what typically is the budget for those types of people?
It can really range. It's a range.
Is it like $24,000 a month, $2,000 a month?
No.
Negotiable?
I think it depends on how many services you really need. So if you just need social media, if you're paying someone fairly, I would try to... it depends on how much you need from them and how many times they're posting or how much strategy there is. So it really varies quite a bit. I mean, I would, if you wanted someone to run your Instagram, I would look at at least $20,000 a year.
$20,000 a year.
Yeah,
That would be the low end, I would think.
If you had someone that was more like amateur,
Yeah.
or if it, like a freelance kind of person. But if you're looking into hiring like a digital media agency or like a marketing agency, it probably would be a little bit more depending on what marketing mix you really need.
Yeah, and then
like
I
what
guess
services.
next steps would be to, as a business person, and this is what I think about too as a financial advisor, is the return on investment, the ROI.
Yeah.
If we're going to be paying $20,000, or I'd be paying $20,000 to an individual, I'd want to at least get that much,
back.
If not more.
Yes.
Hopefully a lot more than that. And I'm just wondering, do you have any studies like that, or do we just need to research that more to see what the kind of ROI you would receive off of this? Or are you really just building your brand and maybe you don't have a direct...
Yeah, it depends on what your goal is, because awareness, for example, you don't really get money back from awareness.
Right.
So, and also it depends on what stage your business is in.
Right.
So if you're starting out, you might not see that direct ROI per se, like how much money that's why social media can be frustrating sometimes.
Right. I think you need to tell...
Because you don't have a direct like, oh, I posted this and then I get this out of it.
Yeah.
And that's something that I struggle with too at the university, is it's like, okay, I post this and I got all this engagement, but does that translate into more fundraising dollars for us, or
are you getting more students?
Yeah, are we getting more students? It's not that direct of in terms of the way you analyze it. It's a little bit difficult to make that direct of a analysis.
But I think as far as the funnel goes that we were talking about before, where you have the general public, then you have the awareness with the social media, I think that's maybe a better way of approaching this than basically we have this input A, we spent $20,000. We did our social media. Now I want $30,000 back. Maybe a better way of looking at it is we have this group of people. We have the Instagram. This brings us into our ecosystem.
Yeah.
Now we're going to go to the next stage, which is, introducing them to the office, then the practitioner, the doctor, and then retain.
Have those various goals or points.
Yeah.
In the cycle, or the funnel, as you
in the funnel, right? Versus just saying, "Oh, I put
like if I do this, this is going to happen."
Yeah, 20,000, 90, 30,000.
If you think that way, you will feel like a failure.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think really it should be more of an awareness campaign, really.
As a comparison, at the university, so we have the digital media stuff, right? Which I said
which you are the
coordinator. Yeah. But I just did a video from graduation and it got almost 300 likes. But I don't know what that translates into in terms of
ROI.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that going to encourage students to come, or will we get more student credit out, SEH, or will those graduates want to become, friends of our school, which is a fundraising kind of endeavor. So but what I was going to say with that is that the advisors, for example, in our program, they're really important. But that's, to me, the advising staff, that's almost like a communication strategy there. Because a lot of students or alums will say, my advisor is the reason why I felt so connected to ECU. So, it could be, same thing with a dental practice. It could be oh, I really love the front office staff. And that's why I keep coming back. Or the billing person was really friendly. And that's part of, but it also the social media maybe got them into the office in the first place.
Right, exactly.
So you have to look at it more broadly than just oh, I posted this and now I'm going to get more patients.
Yeah. I did $20,000. Okay, I want 30.
Yeah. So you can't, then you'll just feel oh, I'm failing. Right. If you just do that and you're oh, okay, now I'm successful. No.
And also what I've noticed is with my own experience, obviously I run a financial advisory practice, is that the likes and the shares sometimes, you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I've even run ads. I don't know if you've ever run ads on social media.
Yeah. Not recently because we don't really have a budget for that, honestly.
It's very expensive.
Yeah.
And you don't really know what you're getting out of it a lot of times, unless it's just like I'm selling a book, or something like that. Like I put $20,000, but I want to sell $30,000 worth of books. Then you can actually measure it as a metric. But like as far as dental goes, medical even, where you're selling a service, it might be 6 months.
Yeah, to capture
the revenue from the time that you actually spent the money.
Mm-hmm. And I would recommend I think I said that before, but analyzing those trends. And that's where the professional, or at the very least an intern that hopefully you would pay. I wouldn't recommend having unpaid interns because then they're just not motivated. I know. Or they should be getting professional development funds or course credit. Anyway, sidebar.
But if it's small business, you should probably pay them.
Yeah, exactly. But and that's a sidebar, but the young people these days, well, there's research on this too, but just anecdotally, they're not really motivated to work for nothing. Because we're a little older than that, and
we're millennials.
In our day, when I was in college, it was very commonplace, like, oh, you're going to intern there for free, and you should just be happy to even be there and not get paid. Or
I did that with Congress. Yeah.
Yep. But now Gen Z, they have a different culture about their expectations. But that's a good tip too. Like if you're going to hire someone like that, they should have some kind of incentive.
And I mean, if they're an independent contractor, you can just do a 1099 on them.
Yeah,
and not pay, and just do independent contractor.
And that alleviates some pressure too in terms of your investment. Yeah,
because if you have a W-2 employee, then you have to do other things than just a 1099.
Yeah,
non-employee. So that's something to consider too when you're hiring, or even outsourcing it. I would not recommend, because I've done this before, outsourcing to Fiverr. No offense to them, I would not recommend outsourcing to any of those.
Are those like gig economy?
They
apps?
are.
Oh, okay. And I would avoid those because I don't know. Yes. You don't know what you're getting. It's kind of like a grab bag.
Don't. And I've been ripped off.
And I would interview. I would interview people.
And
or if anybody who's watching this, if they want an intern, I know a lot of. I'm connected to a lot of communication professionals and students and grad students. So anyway, random plug, because our students are always looking for experience, even if it's a remote opportunity.
But a lot of it's offshore, and it's all 1099. Okay, so it's not W-2. And so you're like, oh, great, 1099, you don't have to pay any benefits or whatever, and it's offshore, so
it's more low.
It's offshore, and it's going to cost you $2 an hour. Well, it's worth $2 an hour. It's worth 50 cents an hour.
Yeah.
Or $0 an hour. That's what it came down to.
Because you're not, Because
they were doing
the same thing when I hired a dog sitter, like on Rover. I only wanted, the person I hired had a ton of reviews and was verified.
What's really interesting about those reviews, kind of circling back to that again, is these large healthcare organizations like Mercy, NYU to a certain extent, I've been seeing that, is that all of their reviews are always 5 stars.
Yeah, I don't like that.
And I'm thinking to myself,
it looks fake to me.
Did the administrators at these organizations
doctor that maybe?
Yeah, like mess with it.
Especially if you have so many reviews.
Right.
Like if you only have a few reviews and you're starting out and they're all 5 stars, that's fine. But if it's like hundreds of reviews and they're all 5 stars, it looks shady.
It looks a little bit off. I don't know. I mean, that might be true. I don't know.
Yeah, it reminds me of Amazon where people get paid to write, like they get a free product to give 5 stars or something. Because then it's like, well,
here, elaborate.
What's the point of that?
Tell me about this. This Amazon.
Yeah, so like I go on Amazon, my fair share of times to buy things because it's convenient. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
But I buy like beauty products and a lot of times with beauty products, I'll get a direct mailer or an email. A lot of times though, it's a direct, like a card in the mail from the seller saying, oh, did you enjoy our product? If you leave us 5 stars with your account that we're tracking, we'll send you another product. And I never do that because it feels unethical to me. I would just never do that.
Yeah. Well, it is Jeff Bezos, so maybe I'll,
Won't go there, but yeah.
He tries his best, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
But the other thing relating to investing too, I think that's where investment kind of services could help with thinking about your marketing strategy, like how you're gonna. I don't know. That's just my opinion because I'm not an expert like you in that. But I think that ties into that as well, like your financial planning.
Right. Yeah, and what's interesting about dentistry doing social media, since it's especially Instagram, since it's very visual, and TikTok to a certain extent. I know we didn't really discuss TikTok. The difference between my industry, for instance, and a dentist is that it's very visual. So you can see maybe this person's smile was pretty bad.
Yes.
And now look what I did. My work has led to this outcome.
And it instills trust too, where you.
And in a way, I think that's better than the 5 stars.
Yeah. I think it could be complimentary as well because you're showing actual. And I keep going back to med spas. Med spas use that a lot where they show the before and afters and show services that are adjacent to dentistry, like lip filler, like a lip flip or different Botox offerings. Oh, something else I wanted to talk about briefly was that we talked about before is there's some competition too with medical tourism.
Oh yeah, medical tourism.
Too, because
we have a few minutes left. Tell me about that.
Yeah, there are trends where people will seek out getting veneers in, I don't know, foreign countries where it's cheaper. And I've heard a lot of horror stories like Fiverr about that. Yeah, where it's, well, I think it depends, because I've heard some stories where like it has worked out, but I think that dentists should really underscore that even though veneers, for example, that's a cosmetic, if it's not properly done, I mean, I'm not a dentist, but this is my understanding. It really can impact your gum health if it's not done right, your bite. And so not only the look of it can be weird, but, and also like veneers that look very fake, like it doesn't even look close to reality. And like
these
it's
are the
overly white.
Offshore dentists.
Yeah. And so even though it's cheaper, I think that dentists that are delving into some of these cosmetic things can underscore that in their marketing and their strategies, like underscoring that even though it's cosmetic, there are risks that are more, medically like health based for the longevity of your smile.
And in a way, I mean, if we look at economics, is that in your business, you can either have a differentiation in price or quality, or, are you delivering a premium product to the customer or to the patient? And I think that kind of goes into that, where we're saying, look, we're not going to do a race to the bottom on price.
Yeah. Because there is something, where
I'm not going to provide you a service for $100.
Yeah, because that could, because also price, if you have like a rock bottom price, that could communicate something bad.
That's a weird communication.
Yeah, because that almost would make me not trust you.
But in a way,
as well,
I do see...
Because that's a part of the marketing mix, too, so the way you price things out.
It's kind of odd because sometimes I see dental practices, what they do is they'll send direct mail with coupons. And they'll say, well, I'm going to take off... It's free. And it almost seems like a bait and switch type thing.
Yeah.
Maybe not race to the bottom price. Race to the bottom price for me to be more like, I'm going to go get this quote here and this guy I'm going to quote, from here, and we're all going to compete and go down to $100 for 10 veneers or something. I really think that if you're competing personally, that you should go for a premium product if you're the business owner versus doing race to the bottom like your Walmart.
Yeah, because also I think coupons, even though it's
kind of weird. I don't know.
I feel like we can borrow some ideas from the customer kind of space. But I don't know if I would do that because
I've seen
it's
it a
not.
Lot. I've seen it.
I feel like it can undermine your credibility too, where it's like, what? That's odd. Like the way that you're doing this.
Yeah. I mean, it's hyper competitive, which is fine.
Yeah.
I think, competition in the marketplace is fine. I mean, it helps drive, correct pricing. But at the same time, I don't think you want to drive price down and everyone competes and then slaughters each other.
Yeah. One last thing. I think we might be running out of time, but
yeah, we got 5 minutes.
Okay, but another thing. Well, in that same vein, I know there are med spas though that have specials sometimes where they're offering Botox units, for example, or injectable units on special or for new customers. And I've seen med spas where that's how they get new patients or customers in the door. So if you're a new med spa and no one knows about you. Yeah, so they'll have an event at their store where they'll have like catering and maybe like mimosas or something like that. Cuz most of the, I mean, this is a stereotype, but the customer base for those places is women.
Okay.
Not all,
yeah,
but
we get it. Yeah.
But not that males don't like mimosas, but anyway, these kinds of things are kind of like female facing as a target audience. But where they'll say like, okay, so the market price in Greenville for Botox is like $14 right now, I think. But they'll say, oh, we're doing, for new customers, we're doing $11 a unit, but you have to buy 20 units at least for that price.
Almost seems like
as like a new customer special.
Yeah.
Or also, there was a place in Greenville where they had it so, like the first, I don't remember, maybe 20 people that came to the event got, I don't know if it was free or highly discounted, like 20 units of Botox or something like that. I don't think it was free though. I can't remember. Or a raffle or something.
Yeah.
I could see how a dental practice, if they wanted to get into some of those med spa things, they could do something like that, but I would be careful about it.
And I don't actually know the ethics of giveaways like that.
Me neither. I'm not sure, because you'd have to talk to a dental
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the ethics.
But that's something that I would think about too, because I think those can be effective as like an awareness building strategy and a way to get a new customers in the door.
Yeah.
And it might take them away from a different med spa, because med spas are like popping up all over the place. So that's another way that, and dental practices have to compete with those, because it's like, why would I get Master or Botox here when I can go to this med spa and it's cheaper?
So really,
maybe. I don't know.
I don't know either. Like probably I would aim maybe toward more of a vertical integration with your practice with med spa.
But one thing though, I think with masseter, I might trust a dentist to do it more, because they understand how everything fits together maybe more than an injector, whatever their credentials might be.
Right, exactly, yeah.
So that's something to think about.
So we have about 2 more minutes left. Would you like to add anything else?
I don't know.
About business or communications and things like that, medical awareness?
I think I went on all my little tangents, but I think I would just remember it's not just delving
student debt. You want to talk about that?
Well, what I want to say, it's not just about, your digital presence, because I think a lot of people think like, oh, I need social media or Instagram.
Yeah.
Because Instagram's kind of like where people are going. Like Facebook is becoming a little antiquated here.
Yep.
And TikTok, some people see it as less trustworthy than Instagram. But anyway, but I wouldn't just think about that. But what I've been saying is like, think about the whole picture. So like, think about the, the office experience and like the interpersonal communication, not just the mass media or, somewhat targeted on digital media.
Right.
So, and then student debt.
We will use a different episode for that.
Yeah.
Because I could probably go on.
Like how you manage that while thinking about investing in your marketing and your
practice and everything.
Yeah.
That's probably best left for a
for
5
next
hour
time. Yeah.
or 10 hour
But
experience.
That's something to consider as another area, like how you balance that as well.
And you work at a university, so you're at fault. Or all the rate increases in tuition.
We have a good in-state deal, though.
Yeah, ECU is a good in-state deal, by the way. But
good value.
Good value for
absolutely.
money. But no, student
and the
debt.
University of Missouri, I went there.
Yeah, why do you keep inflating?
Yeah,
all this stuff.
That's not
your realm. That's the admin people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the admin people. So, all right. Well, I thank you very much for joining us on this podcast today.
Yeah, that was fun.
Our first podcast.
Yeah.
Of hopefully a lot more podcasts to come in the future. And I think it'll be very informative to people to know about, how to do the funnel and everything and how that works and kind of different research.
And thank you for having me. If anyone wants to add me on LinkedIn, it's Erika Catherine Johnson. Yeah. And I look forward to connecting if you want to connect with me.
Yeah, and if you want to connect with me, which I do want you to connect with me, my firm is First Street Financial Advisors, and I'm on LinkedIn as well. Lucas Johnson, obviously. First Street Financial Advisors. I'm an investment advisor representative with First Street, but also my broker-dealer wants you to know that it's Kestra Financial, and that's the broker-dealer. It's out of Austin, Texas. So we deal with them through compliance and everything, and but I can do pretty much anything. I think you're my client just for disclosure purposes. And, we do managed accounts. I can do pretty much anything. But I do want our audience to know that I am more planning centric, meaning that the plan is first, product second. And we try to really look at your needs as a business owner. You're not a business owner, but as a business owner, as a business owner and as a physician or a dentist, really to look at holistically what your practice looks like. I mean, that's going to be your wealth generating engine, really, maybe other than real estate, and really go into the nitty gritty of what's going on in your practice, student loan debt, how should I expand my practice? Should I not expand my practice? Should I pay off my loans? Et cetera, et cetera. So, but it's very more planning centric than
balancing.
Than being like,
things.
Hey, let's come in and we're gonna sell you life insurance and sell you this and da 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 da. We're not coming from that standpoint. We're coming from talking about the business, what's going on in the business, what's going on in your practice, and then linking that all together into your personal finances. And that's really the goal, is to achieve an entire picture. So that's what we're that's what our firm aims to do, really.
Nice.
Okay. So anyway, it's been a pleasure, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
And I will too. And that's all I have for today.
Next time,
Until next time with the student debt.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk to you then.